Hi, classmates and Dr. Gibbs. I'm Kia Howard, junior psychology major here at Dillon University, and my presentation and research is on the correlation between sports and character. The purpose of this research is to discover whether or not participation in sports help develop a person's character to prepare them for the future. Conducting this research will provide evidence that should encourage individuals to get involved in sports, not only for the physical aspects, but mental aspects as well, in which developed characteristics will give them a better position for life. Participation in sports can have many positive influences on many areas in an individual's life. Physical development being, of course, the most obvious, but sports can also improve an individual's social skills and mental development. An example of one of these benefits would be how participating in sports can provide an opportunity to learn skills through teamwork, which is very needed in the workforce. Playing by the rules and pushing through adversity gives an athlete slash individual the qualities of great sportsmanship and responsibility. This research focuses on college students because we are the ones who are preparing for the next big step in life, which is a college career. And during our college undergrad, in order to maintain and achieve both academic and athletic success, we should have the great qualities and characteristics of time management, organizational skills, strategic and analytical thinking, as well as goal setting and leadership skills. So all of these things are needed for the workforce and in our careers or wherever we go. So my research is basically based upon sports being that token and that outlook that will help increase these qualities in an individual. In my literature review, there are two main points: participation in sports and characteristics. So, number one, you guys are asking, what is participation in sports? I can help you with that. Participation in sports is simply being engaged in any type of sport activity. According to the article, Race, Cultural Capital, and the Educational Effects of Participation in Sports, they raise a question as to whether or not sports help or hinder your individual's academic achievement. This research was inspired by James Coleman's An American Sociologist, The Adolescent Society, where he argued that adolescent society emphasizes acceptance by peers. So basically, overall, in this article, it's just stating athlete or students, individuals only participation in sports for acceptance, not for character development or things of that nature. Educational resources play a big role in sports, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing. Two different explanations for this. Number one, a student who has fewer educational resources could be pushed into participating in sports because it could be glorified in the media from a professional athlete, professional sports teams, and they'll be more vulnerable to attempt to participate in sports. And two, students who could have long-term and short-term benefits. Short-term benefits considering being popularity or a self-esteem booster or just for attention if they aren't receiving it at home from their parents or loved ones. And long-term being they want to make a career out of it and become a professional athlete as well. The second main point of my literature review is characteristics. To define character, it is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Developmental outcome is the result of the act or process of growing, progressing, or development. Sports enhances character in different aspects such as strategic and analytical thinking, leadership skills, and goal setting. So, to begin with strategic and analytical thinking. Strategic thinking is defined as a mental or thinking process applied by an individual in the context of achieving a goal or a set of goals in a game or other endeavor. Analytical thinking describes a thinking style that enables a person to break down complex information or a series of comprehensive data that uses a step-by-step method to analyze a problem and then come up with an answer. According to the article Role of Sports in the Development of an Individual, Role Role of Psychology in Sports, he included several strategies to support this. So 3 strategies that I chose to share with you all will be never giving up, focus, and planning. So, never give up. This teaches you to be persistent, and whenever hard times come, you continue to push through and you continue to work harder, which is beneficial in the workforce, in your outcome, your developmental outcome, as well as focus. If you learn how to focus on one thing at a time, or whatever you have planned, as far as if it's sports translating into the work world, when you're focused, it's easier and you get a better outcome for any of the work you do. And planning. If you're planning for the steps ahead of you, if any mistakes come out of the blue, you can strategically think. And as far as the definition of analytical thinking, which is coming up with a step-by-step method on how to analyze a situation, if you plan ahead, you'll have these qualities to use this in whatever is going on. Another benefit under characteristics that I discussed in my paper is leadership skills. Leadership is the process of influencing others in a manner that enhances their contribution to the realization of group goals. In sports, successful teams have strong leaders. According to the Leadership and the Role of Leader in Sports article written by Sid Sampler, there are 3 different types of traditional leadership, from the amateur level to the elite level: autocratic leaders, democratic leaders, and laissez-faire leaders. I'll give an example of one of these leadership styles, which is the autocratic leadership style. This is one that is the authoritarian who tends to make all the decisions and is motivated to complete the task as quickly and as effective as possible. Last but not least, within the characteristics section is goal setting. Goals are the object or the aim of an action to attain a specific standard of proficiency, usually within a specific time limit. Goal setting is the process by which one achieves these goals. Goal setting is probably one of the most important characteristics to have, and that is learned through sports. For example, in sports setting, before teams begin to be in season, they have an off season, which the coach will strategically sit and plan out whatever there is to be done for improvement for the next season. So they will be given workouts, nutrition, facts, and things of that nature in the off season to prepare them for the future. So for my theoretical framework, I chose the social learning theory by Albert Bandura. He proposed that individuals learn moral attitudes and behaviors through observational learning and social reinforcement. In order to help athletes gain morals and character development, this process falls upon the coaches to instill these aspects into their athletes. A player's moral actions are influenced and modeled by the observation of appropriate behaviors that they see from their teammates and or coaches. For my method, I will be examining whether or not participation in sports helps develop a person's character, or will the results show that they have developed the same characteristics as someone who has not participated in sports. I will be using 32 collegiate students and student athletes. Participants will include 16 male and 16 female students between the ages of 18 through 24. There will be 8 students who have participated in sports and 8 students who have not participated in sports. And each of these participants will be volunteers. For the materials, I will use informed consent forms, which will notify the participants of the research and let them know that none of their information will be disclosed and it will remain private. I will also use social media as a form of testing, which I will use an Instagram poll or a Twitter poll, depending on whichever one they have access to. This will be a qualitative study. The first survey will ask the participants if they have participated in sports, yes or no. If they answer yes, the second survey will ask them if participation in sports has taught them any particular life lessons. If the participant answers yes, the following question will ask them to elaborate and explain what exactly has sports taught them to help develop their question. The last survey will ask, what characteristics have you gained through participation in sports? If the participants answers no for the very first survey, which asks them have they participated in sports, they will be asked what characteristics do they possess. The following question after that will ask them what experience have they encountered to help them develop those characteristics. This study is a basic research study, therefore I will not be actually putting forth the effort to gain a solution for this, but instead I would like to provide more evidence, as well as the previous sources that I have read, provide more evidence that proves or gives some type of purpose to show that sports does have a lot to do with building your characteristics for your career or your developmental outcome.